Simpson Geniuses. What if every member of the Simpson family is secretly brilliant, but deliberately chooses ignorance? This theory suggests that Homer, Marge, and Bart all possess genius-level intelligence, but prefer happiness over intellectual achievement. The evidence is compelling. Season 12's episode HOMR reveals that Homer becomes a genius after removing a crayon lodged in his brain, raising his IQ by 50 points. However, he chooses to reinsert the crayon to avoid being ostracized by his friends, explicitly preferring social acceptance over intelligence. Marge has been shown as an excellent student in multiple flashbacks, but chose family over career ambitions. Bart exhibits natural aptitude for languages and complex schemes throughout the series, and in Bart the Genius, he demonstrates understanding of gifted-level concepts when properly motivated. The theory originated on Reddit from user Kirby Clock, and addresses inconsistencies with the Simpson gene episode, which claims only males are affected. If this theory holds true, it reframes the family's behavior from inability to deliberate choice, suggesting they found their own path to happiness by prioritizing simple pleasures over intellectual pursuits. The possibility remains open because, while individual abilities are confirmed on screen, the show has never explicitly addressed whether this is conscious decision-making or genuine limitation. Secret Society. Bart Simpson may have joined the Stonecutters before his father ever discovered the organization. According to this Reddit theory from user TiePiper93, the evidence suggests Bart qualified for membership through multiple channels. The secret society accepts new members only two ways: saving a member's life or being the son of a member. Season 2's episode Blood Feud shows Bart save Mr. Burns' life with a rare blood donation, automatically qualifying him. Additionally, Bart is Grandpa Abe's grandson, and Abe is a confirmed Stonecutter member. When Homer is revealed as the Chosen One in Season 6's Homer the Great, he commands Lisa be removed from the room. Bart immediately and enthusiastically follows this order, even bowing slightly to his father in a way that suggests understanding of organizational hierarchy. The theory gains credibility from another detail. Bart frequently evades serious punishment at Springfield Elementary, despite his constant pranks. Principal Skinner is also a confirmed Stonecutter member and could be protecting a fellow brother of the organization. While Bart is never seen at Stonecutter meetings, attendance is not mandatory according to the show's lore. This theory remains possible because the series has never explicitly addressed Bart's membership status, despite he meets all qualifications. Moe's awareness. Bartender Moe Sislak might know exactly who's been prank calling him for decades. This theory from Reddit user Senor Schnarf suggests Moe recognizes Bart's voice, but enjoys the calls enough to keep playing along. The classic running gag features Bart calling Moe's Tavern with fake names like Jacques Strap, Alcoholic, and Seymour Butts, with Moe falling for the prank and angrily shouting for the non-existent person. However, one episode provides compelling evidence for this theory. When Homer is fired from the power plant, Marge sends Bart to bring him home, right after Bart makes a prank call to Moe's. When Bart enters the bar and starts speaking, Moe immediately recognizes his voice and appears genuinely thrilled to see the younger Simpson, showing no anger whatsoever. Throughout the series, Moe has shown a soft spot for the Simpson children in various episodes, suggesting he values his connection to the family more than his pride. This theory adds unexpected emotional depth to what appears to be simple, slapstick comedy, reframing Moe from a perpetual victim to a willing participant who finds joy in the interaction. The possibility remains viable because while we see Moe recognize Bart's voice, the show has never explicitly confirmed whether he's always known or truly been fooled all these years. Multiverse Springfield. Each episode of The Simpsons might exist in its own separate universe rather than following a single continuous timeline. This theory addresses the show's famous continuity issues and contradictions. Springfield's layout changes significantly between episodes, with buildings appearing and disappearing as needed. The Simpson house interior varies in room count and configuration depending on plot requirements. Character ages remain static despite clear passage of time and cultural references spanning decades. Early flashbacks show Homer and Marge meeting in the 1970s wearing period clothing, but Season 19's episode, That 90s Show, depicts them as childless in the early 1990s. Grandpa Simpson and Mr. Burns both fought in World War II, which would make them over 100 years old if calculated from service dates between 1941 and 1945. Springfield's geographic location shifts constantly, sometimes featuring coastline and sometimes appearing landlocked. The climate varies wildly, from snowy winters to desert heat within the same season. This theory provides an in-universe explanation for what is actually a production necessity, allowing fans to interpret inconsistencies as evidence that each episode is its own self-contained reality. The possibility exists because, while show creators have acknowledged the floating timeline, they've never explicitly endorsed or rejected the multiverse interpretation, leaving it as a valid fan explanation for maintaining cultural relevance across 35-plus years. Moleman Mystery. Springfield's unluckiest resident might not be one person at all. This theory suggests Hans Moleman is actually multiple individuals from an underground civilization of mole-human hybrids. Reddit user Aaron3 originated this idea after noticing that Moleman suffers repeated fatal injuries throughout the series. The character has been crushed, burned, exploded, and otherwise killed dozens of times, yet always returns in the next episode with no explanation or acknowledgement of previous deaths. Season 11's episode, Hello Gutter, Hello Fatter, provides crucial evidence by showing Homer encountering a race of underground mole men living beneath Springfield, confirming such a civilization exists in the show's universe. A Reddit commenter expanded the theory, suggesting these mole-human hybrids are gradually attempting to infiltrate surface society by taking up jobs one by one in Springfield, but Homer's shenanigans killed them off as fast as they can emerge. Multiple Hans Molemans have been seen taking various jobs around town, and the character's stated age varies inconsistently, from 31 to over 80 years old across different episodes. This theory brilliantly transforms a simple cartoon gag into an elaborate conspiracy narrative while connecting to an established episode showing underground civilization. The possibility remains open because the show acknowledges both Moleman's repeated deaths and the existence of underground molemen, but has never explicitly confirmed or denied whether they're related. Ned's view. What if The Simpsons isn't objective reality, but filtered through neighbor Ned Flanders' judgmental perspective? This theory from Reddit's Anomalocaris suggests the show is seen through Ned's biased religious lens. It would explain why The Simpsons appear crude, while the Flanders family seems impossibly perfect. Ned considers himself and his family above everyone, devoted to God without sin, making his view of The Simpsons particularly harsh. Homer's vices might be exaggerated because Ned views him as the worst possible neighbor who doesn't follow God's path. Bart's bad behavior could be amplified through Ned's disapproving lens, especially when compared to the angelic Rod and Todd. Marge seems more reasonable in the show's portrayal, which would fit if Ned respected mothers and traditional family roles more than other positions. This theory questions the nature of reality within the show itself, suggesting an unreliable narrator situation. It offers an explanation for the show's moral universe, and why the Flanders family rarely experiences the same chaotic consequences as The Simpsons, at least in earlier seasons. The possibility exists because the show has never explicitly confirmed whose perspective we're watching from, and Ned's religious worldview is definitely judgmental enough to color his perception of his neighbors, leaving this as a valid interpretive lens for the series. Hidden royalties. Homer Simpson's seemingly impossible middle-class lifestyle might be funded by music royalties. This theory from Reddit user Somewhere Cheap addresses a question many fans have. How do the Simpsons afford their large house, 2 cars, and frequent vacations on a nuclear safety inspector's salary? Season 5's episode, Homer's Barbershop Quartet, reveals Homer was part of the B Sharps, a Grammy-winning Beatles-esque barbershop quartet in the 1980s that achieved massive commercial success. The group included Homer, Barney Gumble, Apu Nahasapima Pedalon, and Principal Skinner, and they scored a #1 hit single with Baby on board. The theory suggests Homer continues receiving substantial royalty payments from music sales and licensing. The other band members' financial situations support this idea. Barney would have drunk any money away, explaining his continued poverty. Apu appeared well off before having octuplets, which forced him into modest living despite any royalty income. Skinner lives in a nice house but shares it with his demanding mother, possibly giving her money for investments while feeling guilty about his Vietnam service. This theory provides a satisfying answer using established canon, explaining why Homer rarely seems stressed about money despite frequent unemployment. The possibility remains valid because, while the band's commercial success is confirmed, the show has never explicitly mentioned whether royalty payments continue or address the family's mysterious financial stability. By the way, if you're enjoying this type of content, I create videos like this all the time. Subscribing would really help me out. Impossible geography. Springfield's contradictory location might be explained by the town existing in a 4-dimensional tesseract. Known as the tesseract theory among fans, this addresses the decades-long mystery of Springfield's location. The show depicts Springfield with ocean coastline in multiple episodes, but also shows desert, mountains, canyons, and northern forests. One episode states West Springfield is 3 times the size of Texas, which is physically impossible unless space functions differently. The radio station KBBL has a K prefix, indicating it's west of the Mississippi River, according to U.S. broadcasting standards. Border episodes show Springfield adjacent to Ohio, Kentucky, Nevada, and Maine at different times. The tesseract theory suggests Springfield exists in higher dimensional space, folded into itself, allowing the town to be much bigger than the physical space it occupies, and enabling location shifts as needed. Matt Groening intentionally keeps the location ambiguous, telling Smithsonian Magazine in 2012 that whenever people claim any Springfield, he responds, "Yep, that's right." He confirms Springfield was inspired by Springfield, Oregon, but designed as Anytown, USA. This theory represents fans creating a scientifically inspired explanation grounded in theoretical physics, turning a production choice into a fascinating concept. The possibility exists because Groening has never confirmed the actual location, and all geographic contradictions are documented and verifiable, leaving the tesseract explanation as valid as any other interpretation. Bart's destiny. Bart Simpson might grow up to become Matt Groening, creating The Simpsons as an adult to chronicle his own childhood. This meta-theory from Reddit user Just Embarrassing connects fascinating real-world details with Bart's demonstrated abilities. Groening based the Simpson family on his own family members, parents Homer and Margaret, sisters Lisa and Maggie. Only Bart's name differs, being an anagram of brat rather than a family member's name, suggesting he's partially Groening's self-insert. Throughout the series, Bart displays natural talent for comedy and idolizes Krusty the Clown, mirroring career interests that would lead someone to create an animated series. Episodes show Bart capable of ghostwriting television content, and he won an Academy Award for his Angry Dad animated short, demonstrating ability to create successful cartoons about his family experiences. Like Groening, Bart has an antagonistic relationship with authority figures and draws creative inspiration from his own life. The theory suggests adult Bart becomes a cartoonist who creates The Simpsons, documenting his childhood adventures. This creates a satisfying circular narrative where the show documents the childhood of its own future creator. The possibility remains open because Bart exhibits the exact skills and interests that would lead to creating an animated series. The family naming convention supports the connection, and the show has never addressed what Bart becomes as an adult in any definitive canonical way. Maude's truth. Ned Flanders' late wife Maude might have been a secret sociopath who actively wanted her husband gone. This dark theory originated on the No Homers fan site from user Diversity Pumpkin and examines Maude's behavior before her death in Season 11's Alone Again Natura Diddly. Multiple episodes show a disturbing pattern. During a bear attack, Maude shows no concern for Ned's safety. When a comet threatens Springfield, she doesn't try to help him. An episode with rooftop danger shows Maude willing to leave Ned behind, consistently prioritizing her own safety over his. After her death, a detail reveals Maude's bed imprint shows she slept facing away from Ned every single night, suggesting decades of coldness and emotional distance. She's never shown being affectionate toward Ned in private moments, only maintaining the perfect wife appearance in public settings. The theory suggests Maude's perfect Christian wife persona was an elaborate facade hiding her actual plan to eventually become a widow. This dramatically reframes a supporting character by examining background details viewers typically overlook, transforming the perfect religious family into something much darker. The possibility exists because all cited episodes and scenes are real and verifiable. These behavioral patterns are consistently shown rather than isolated incidents, and the show has never provided alternative explanations for Maude's cold behavior toward Ned in private moments. Broncos ownership. Homer Simpson might secretly own an NFL team worth over $1 billion. This theory from Reddit user Awkward Hipsters points to Season 8's episode You Only Move Twice, where villain-turned-employer Hank Scorpio gives Homer the Denver Broncos as a parting gift after Homer's family forces him to quit. Homer seems disappointed because he wanted the Dallas Cowboys instead, treating the gesture casually. The theory suggests this gift was legally legitimate, and Homer technically still owns the franchise. According to 2012 valuations, the Denver Broncos were worth over $1 billion. This would explain the Simpson family's ability to afford their lifestyle, frequent vacations, expensive purchases, and Homer's casual attitude toward employment. The team would generate substantial revenue through ticket sales, merchandise, television contracts, and league profit sharing, even with minimal owner involvement. Other family financial mysteries would be solved, including how they recovered from bankruptcy multiple times and maintain their standard of living through Homer's numerous job losses. The possibility remains viable because the show never explicitly addressed what happened to the Broncos' ownership after the gift, never showed Homer selling or transferring the team, and has never provided alternative explanations for the family's financial resilience despite countless economic disasters. Abe's secret. Grandpa Abe Simpson's wildly inconsistent memories might be explained if he's an experienced time traveler. This theory, developed by Reddit user DataForge, requires accepting that Treehouse of Horror episodes contain some canonical truth. Treehouse of Horror 5 features the segment Time and Punishment, where Homer creates a time machine from a toaster and travels to prehistoric past. Each visit accidentally changes the present, creating everything from dinosaur-filled worlds to dystopias. When Homer struggles with the consequences, his father Abe gives oddly specific advice. If you ever travel back in time, don't step on anything. This advice suggests personal experience with time travel rather than general wisdom. Eventually, Homer settles for a timeline that's close enough to the original. Throughout the series, Abe's memories constantly contradict themselves. He tells stories where he fought for both sides of wars, met people in impossible circumstances, and claims to have been in locations that don't match any historical timeline. The theory suggests Abe gained time travel knowledge through his own experiences and has jumped between timelines so frequently that he can't keep history straight anymore. This cleverly transforms a character quirk into evidence of science fiction adventure, connecting non-canonical Halloween episodes to the main series. The possibility exists because Abe's specific time travel advice suggests insider knowledge, his contradictory memories are consistently documented throughout the series, and the show has never provided alternative explanations for his constantly shifting personal history. Silent genius. Maggie Simpson might be deliberately hiding genius-level intelligence behind her baby facade. This theory suggests the family's youngest member is actually the most dangerous Simpson. Despite being over 1 year old, Magic never speaks and has demonstrated remarkable abilities throughout the series. She shot Mr. Burns with precision in the famous two-parter, successfully broke Homer out of prison in a later episode, and operated firearms with accuracy multiple times. She's saved Homer's life repeatedly despite being an infant. The character never shows typical baby confusion or limitation, and always seems aware of exactly what's happening around her. Season 15's episode, Smart and Smarter, suggests Maggie has an IQ even higher than Lisa's, establishing her intellectual superiority within the family. The theory proposes Maggie deliberately stays silent to avoid attention, maintaining her baby facade while secretly manipulating situations to her advantage. This makes her the most dangerous Simpson, because nobody suspects the baby of having agency or planning. The theory transforms the show's most innocent character into its most sinister, suggesting her silence isn't developmental delay, but strategic calculation. The possibility remains open because while episodes document Maggie's impressive abilities and high IQ, the show has never explicitly addressed whether these feats are baby luck, instinct, or deliberate genius-level planning, leaving both interpretations equally valid. If this was worth your time, consider subscribing so you never miss new content. Thanks for watching.